I just wanted to show you the new planners. People have been asking actually what is in them. So they come with a variety of covers. So there's this one. There's some really nice positive ones, positive thinking, positive outcome. It takes an orchestra to play a symphony. Or we have more things like only my children get to call me mum, because it's my pet peeve. I'm not your mum. Don't ask me how mum is. So there you go. That's that one. There's a variety of options, so you can choose when you buy. There's a place to put how you work, who is working with your family. And there's a place for other useful contacts. When did you last see someone? And there's tips at the top of each page. Birthdays and important dates. A monthly calendar, monthly task list with tips on how to stay on top of it all. And then there's notes page for each month. So you get those for each month. And then, move on. The emails that you sent and the calls that you've made. Because how often have you sat in a meeting and had to scroll because you knew you've sent an email and they're going to, oh, it doesn't matter. And you're going, no, it's really important. Now you can just find it really quickly. And then a page for what are you waiting for? And this is the things like when you've been to a meeting and they say, oh, we'll send you an appointment out, or we'll refer you to such a place. And you can put a note in here to say when that's sort of expected to happen, so you can chase it up, so you don't forget, so you don't have to remember it in your head. Medication that they're on. Easy to find. These are the things like your DLA references, your blue badge numbers, your hospital numbers, things you don't need every day, but you can guarantee that when you do need it, it's not in a place where you can find it. So just an easy to find, useful numbers. What's working and not working, and they're really good for when you're sort of thinking about meetings and things. So you've got a list of actually that didn't work, this isn't working, that's worked really well, can we do more of that? School dates. And because I know I'm on week 3 of half term at the moment, because all the schools have different dates. So there's space for up to 3 schools. Dates for the school meetings, because obviously your school should be meeting with you more regularly than just the parents' evening once a year, if your child has special needs. So this is just to keep a date of when you actually had meetings with the school, like the in-year meetings. And this one, where are your important documents? So there's things like your Education, Health and Care Plan, your IEP, your IDP, whatever acronym is being used at the moment. Where are they? Where are you going to find them? Because we all have filing systems that we set up and we think are brilliant. And then when we come to look for it, we can't remember where we filed it, or it's in a pile of paper. We'll talk about paperwork in a moment. Needs and outcomes. So just a place to put the things from your plans into one page as a quick overview, so you remember what everyone's supposed to be working towards. Bit of fun, but phases of the moon, because, well, if you know, you know. Sometimes behaviour changes and it's something that lots of parents talk about, and so it's just useful to know when the phases of the moon are for next year. The 2 important pages. Who is your support? I don't mean who do you go to for advice, I mean who keeps you upright. Is it a Facebook group? And you might think, oh, I don't need to put that in there, but we join lots of Facebook groups and sometimes life gets in the way and we don't get to go in them as often as we used to, and then we forget what they're called. Oh, what was that one called again? And I've done it. I was looking for one recently which was about Education, Health and Care Plans, and I was in about 5 and I couldn't remember which one it was that was really useful. So who are your go-to people, what are the support groups you go to, contact number for the person who runs it, save you having to look on Facebook and scroll through 1,000 things. You can just grab that quickly if you need to change something. And when you've had a shit day, the things that make you happy. Tips for meetings and meeting notes. So a place to ask what was supposed to happen when you last had the meeting with that person. Did it get done? What questions do you want to ask at this meeting? And also notes, and have you added the next appointment to your diary? So you can actually buy just a meetings journal as well. I'll show you here. And the only difference with the meetings journal, this is just for meetings, is you have an index so that you can write down in here what meetings you've made notes on, so that when you're looking back, when did I last see, it's much easier. You'll be able to find it here. And so you can buy these as well, and these come with the meeting notes and an index, and of course, the tips, because the tips are really, really useful. And all of this comes from being a mum myself, who has sat through meeting after meeting after meeting, turned up a month early at one meeting in London, and has also been in the wrong place, the wrong date, the wrong time, you name it, I've been there. So this hopefully will just help, because the idea is you'll get it all out of your head, because we all try and remember everything, and it's hard enough to remember anything anyhow. Always remember that your brain is not supposed to be a filing cabinet, and it's easier to get it written down. The other things I offer are an epilepsy tracker, and a huge thanks to Emma Murphy from Happy Little You, or Fox and Hound, I think she calls herself now, because she helped me a lot with this. I don't have epilepsy in my family, that I'm very grateful, but obviously some people do. So this is how to use the tracker, and at a glance tracker. So these are yearly trackers for seizures, and the idea being that you can decide whether you want to track the severity, hospitalisation, medication, and you might want to track a few different things. So we put you a few different ones in. And then there's also an individual seizure trackers, which is the appearance, did they need meds, did they need an ambulance, how long did it last, were they admitted to hospital, and the place for some notes. So there's a seizure tracker, and we also have a reactions tracker. Now, reactions, or as it's known by the practitioners, behaviour, but behaviour is a reaction. So this is, again, tips on how to fill it in. And at a glance tracker, again, a couple of those, so you can track different things to do with the reactions. And then just individual reaction trackers, what happened before it. And these are really good because it helps you to start recognising triggers. And so if you put who was there, were they were there, you know, what happened before it happened, what happened during the reaction, and what happened after. And it's also really good to start, when you start recognising the triggers, it might help if you track on here how you react. Because if you recognise triggers, it makes it easier to understand and to deal with when you understand why they're having that reaction. It's when you don't understand that reaction that it can get really, really frustrating and you can't pinpoint what triggered it. So knowing how you respond to it may be a nice thing to track for you, to sort of think about that. So that's what we've got on offer at the moment. There's also just plain notebooks, different covers, again, things like the thoughts I can't say out loud. So some of the covers are sort of inspirational and motivational, and you'll sort of turn up and it'll be things like together everyone achieves more, or just keep swimming, and the people in the meeting go, oh, that's nice. And then there'll be others like the only my children get to call me mum, or on the notebooks there's things like the thoughts I can't say out loud. So it sort of helps you to say things without having to say them, and it can be a conversation starter and an icebreaker. So there's notebooks as well. You can choose to have them lined, unlined, or half-half, and just let us know. Again, you can choose all that in the shop. There are more coming. We have 3 that I'm currently writing that will hopefully be up there within the next week or so. So keep looking back at the site because it is changing sort of regularly. And I'm also, if you want a tracker and it's not a reactions, it's not a seizure, but there's something that you'd like to track and there's things that you'd like to do, get in touch. I'm really happy to develop a new one. You know, and anyone who helps me to create one gets one free. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you. As a sort of promotion this week, we're also doing a free paperwork booklet. It's a 20-page booklet talking about different systems, filing, ways to keep on top of the paperwork, ways to sort the paperwork out. And I know what it's like because I get a huge quantity of paperwork. I've got 3 children with special educational needs and disabilities, so it's constant and I totally get it. But hopefully you know, the booklet will help, and you can get that free as a download and in return for your email address. And we won't email you every single day. There's nothing more annoying. And when the emails come, they'll either be to tell you about a product, or they'll be to share a tip, or there'll be something from someone who has said to me, this really helped me. And so we'll talk about new product ideas and things like that. So it's worth signing up because it's all done by parents. It's me, I'm a parent carer, and I have a huge network of friends who've been really helpful in helping me with ideas on what would help them. So hopefully you'll like it. You can check it all out at lifeaspland.com, and I will see you all soon. Bye.